What's going on, guys? Nathan with Technology Smash back with another video, and today I have the mini review, I guess, of the Moto G5 Plus. So I'm just double checking right here. I got this on Amazon a couple weeks ago, and it hadn't really been in stock much. So when it finally came in stock, I grabbed one up pretty quick. I saw another thing like you've heard me talk about before through Slick Deals somebody had posted. So this is the Moto G5 Plus. It's the 5th generation Moto G. The color I have is lunar gray, and this is the 32 gig model with 2 gigs of RAM. So just so you know where we're at. So I just made a quick list of pros and cons if you're looking to get a phone like this, since it's very inexpensive compared to other phones that are out there, especially for what it offers. So we're gonna go over those things quick here, and then you can make your decision if you're wanting one or not, or you can disagree and get one anyways, or you can agree and get one, because I think I would. With all said and done, what budget phones are and what they're supposed to do, this is a really, really good option. So I paid with tax $192.05, so $192.05. Before tax, it was $179.99. So to give you an idea. First, I just want to kind of show you the size. So this is my iPhone 7 next to it. So if we kind of put these down, you can see it's bigger in size, obviously. And then here's an iPhone SE next to that. So the SE fits inside probably the screen size of the G5. But it's a good size phone. I really do like the size. So I'm going to go over the cons first, the things that I don't personally like. And then I'll go over the good things, because it's better to end, with the good. So feel free to disagree with me, but this is how I feel about the phone. So first of all, I feel this phone is pretty ugly. So on the back, this lunar gray, I guess it does look gray. To me, a lot of times the way it catches light almost looks like a champagne-ish gold color. It is gray, but I just get that feel because it's like a fake shimmer. Sort of. The looks aren't too bad, because I do like the way the front looks. It's pretty minimalistic. It just has the Moto logo under the earpiece slash speaker. And then on the bottom chin down here is just the fingerprint sensor. So the front looks clean. I think the back looks ugly. You can see that camera bump there, and I'll get to that in a second too. But not a huge fan of how it looks, but that's okay. Again, some people won't even care about that, and they'll slap a case on anyways. So let's see, the speaker, another bad for me. The speaker is only right here. There's no dual speakers, which is great that it's front facing. Doesn't sound awesome, and that's the only one. You can actually cover it up very, very easily. Let me open one of my videos really quick and see if we can kind of see just how easy it is to block the sound that comes out of that. So it's very easy to do, but you would get used to not doing that. You can see that I thumbs up my own video, but this is on my other account. So okay, let's see. It is not in rotate mode, so I'm going to turn this all the way up. Sorry for the echo if you hear that. You can kind of hear it a little bit, and now if I cover, literally drowns out the sound completely. Again, if you're gonna have a speaker at all, front facing is the way to go, so that's great. But I just think because it's it's a budget phone, it's not the best speaker ever. So take that as it is. It depends on how you use it. Some people never use the speakers on their phone. They use headphones, or they use a tablet when they watch something. Second thing is not a huge deal because it is budget, but this is still using micro USB, so no USB-C on this. That's kind of obvious reasons things are kind of going that way. The next problem, mushy buttons. I'm somebody who really likes clicky buttons. It just shows a lot of quality. Again, all this take into account, it is a budget phone, but clicky buttons. So you can hear, and I'll put this in my microphone, that really nice feedback that you get when you turn an iPhone or Galaxy, like the Galaxy S8 or just a phone like that. These are very mushy, and sometimes the power button almost just seems completely flat to the body. Like you can't even push it. See how close it looks? It is ridged, which is nice. but I just wish that they would have been a little clickier. They are plastic. At least the power button is. The volume button looks like it actually might be metal, and those are a little bit clickier, but nowhere near, you know, other phones. But usually that is the case in budget phones, almost every one I've come across. So keep that in mind. So there's another one. Another problem, this camera bump. Usually I'm not a huge deal breaker for a camera bump. Obviously, you know, the iPhone 7 has one, so when you set it down, it can kind of rock back and forth. Not too bad on the iPhone. This one's just annoying to me for some reason when I'm holding it. It's really big. It's right in the top center. So whenever I'm holding it, I feel like my finger is rubbing over it or touching it. So it's always got fingerprints on it. That's just the way I hold it. I think a lot of people hold their phones with some kind of grip like this, or they, you know, it's kind of hard to hold it just like a cupped hand. You kind of always put something towards the back so that it stabilizes it and you don't drop it or slide out. But, you know, I don't know what to say about that one. That one's a personal preference. I really don't like the camera bump. Sometimes they're smaller. On the iPhone, it's up in the corner. So when I am holding it, if I do have that grip, I don't touch it. It's out of my way. It's not right in the center. So take that as you will. This one is kind of a two-way street because I'll mention something about this in my pros, but it feels cheap. And it is cheap. So that's not a knock at it. It's just, this looks, or people have said that this is metal, but to me, everything still feels plastic. Everything you touch on the sides is plastic. The top and bottom are plastic. This area is plastic up here and down here for the antenna bands, I'm sure. I think this is mentioned that it's metal, but it doesn't feel metal. It's not cold to the touch ever. Like my iPhone SE, this is cold to the touch right now. I can feel that it's metal all the way around. This, maybe because it's not on the sides and it is on the back, I don't feel it. So I don't know what kind of metal it is, but I have been seeing videos where they do say it is metal. So last con, this is a terrible camera. I guess you could get a shot you wanted to. Again, this is always a sticking point for budget phones. So if camera is a huge deal for you and you still need to stay budget, I would probably look elsewhere. You can find a lot of reviews that say that about this phone, not just me. So yeah, I didn't take many pictures that looked great. Even things that I would be completely still on and in focus, after I had taken them, they would have blur to them in certain areas. It was crazy. I just couldn't get it to look nice. So all right, on to the good, because there is a lot of good. So I'm done knocking the phone, so the good things. So this runs stock Android, so that's number one, awesome. Everybody knows that. When Lenovo took over Motorola, I wondered how that was going to go, but they've left it pretty much alone. So this all looks like stock, which is great. You can go into the settings, and everything, same thing, is stock. There's a couple of things here and there in the software that are Moto related, but for the most part, it's all stock. So with that, the phone runs smoothly, very smooth. This is a 2 gig RAM model. There is one, I believe, with either 3 or 4. It's the next model up. Let me look here really quick. So there is a better option for more money, obviously, but let's see. Yeah, here it is. So 64 gigs, 4 gigs of RAM. You go from 179 to 239. So you do have a jump in price, obviously. Maybe that's, you know, a better option for some people who heavily multitask, but I just had simple things running on here and it works great. It's super fast, super fluid. Stock Android on lower specs runs better than higher spec phones that have a heavy skin on them. It's just how it is. This, you know, stock Android is how Google is meant to run. That's why the Pixel works so well, because it has high-end hardware with stock software. So that's the first thing. Fingerprint scanner on this phone. So this is a budget phone that only runs at 180 and it's got a fingerprint scanner. A really good one too. So if you look, I touch, unlocked. Gives you a little vibrate feedback. I touch, unlock. It's very, very quick. I always recommend for front fingerprint sensors to do your 2 index and your 2 thumbs. So whichever hand you grab it with, or if it's on a desk, finger, and then you can, you know, depending on which angle you have it at. So that's great. It is very, very, very quick and it almost never misses. So not only is it awesome that there's one on a budget phone at all, but that it works so well. So let's actually, I want to see, I'm going to do it with my iPhone at the same time and see which one unlocks first. Oh, you know what? I gotta press. So the Moto is quicker just because, you know, there is an animation there for the iPhone, but that's how fast it is. It's very, very quick, and it's a rest. There's no button. You don't have to press in like the iPhone. You just rest your finger on there. It knows there's a finger on there or whatever needs to unlock it, and it opens up. Okay. Really like the fingerprint sensor on that quite a bit. So perfect size, I said, for this next one. So it's a great size phone. Depending on, you know, the size hands you have, I really like the way that it is set up. All the proportions are really nice. It doesn't have too big of bezels. Again, this is a budget phone, so it's not going to have, you know, the newer style where it's going to a lot smaller bezels. But it's great. I really like the size. So just real quick rundown since I have it up. This is running a Snapdragon 625 with an octa-core processor. So 2 gigs of RAM for this one and 32 gigs of internal storage. But this does take micro SD, so that's another positive. It does have expandable storage. In the top here, you have your little SIM card tray and micro SD that sit in the same one. So that's really great. Okay. Next thing, the home button gesture. So I don't know if any of you have seen this. It's only on a certain amount of phones right now, but I don't have my soft keys down there, and there's no buttons on the sides of the screen to go back and to open multitasking. They're not there. I have it that way because it's set up to be able to do that. You can turn on the software buttons if you want for back, home, and recent apps, but there's gestures built into the home button, and it's almost like a little like a MacBook trackpad. So you can swipe to the left for back, swipe to the right for recent apps, or if you don't want to do that, you can switch the order. So I actually have it to where one tap will bring you home. So watch, if we swipe over to the right, recent apps will open up. And if we're open, let's see, if we just open something like Google Now, let me just make sure nothing is on there. Google Now, and you swipe to the left, it'll go back. So it actually goes back just like it would if you hit back, and you get really used to this really fast. If you hold down for just a second, it will lock the phone. So that's really cool. You can rest again to open it. If you hold down for longer than that, it will open Google Now on tap. Google on tap, or I never use that, so I never remember the name. So really cool. Swipe to the right, like I said, for multitasking. Swipe to the left for back. Press once to go home. And it all has this small vibrate feedback, or press and hold for just a second to turn the screen off. Really, really cool, especially in a budget phone. So I really appreciate something like that being in a budget phone like that. It's really cool. So next thing, bright, nice screen. So this is a full HD. It's 1080p. It's not going to be quad HD, obviously. Very pretty colors. The brightness gets very high. Brightness always looks weird in videos, but I will turn it all the way up. It's going to blow it out, but it does get very bright in person. I haven't taken out in the sunlight a whole bunch, but for budget, this is pretty much the highest you're going to see usually. So especially for under 200, screen looks really, really good. I think this is part of stock now, but the next thing I said, I love wallpapers, and it's hard to find quality ones sometimes. The wallpapers that are built into here are perfect. They're second to none for me. So if you go and you look, wallpapers, you have all different styles. So you have art, earth, landscape, cityscapes, textures, life. But when you go into these, they're actually great wallpapers. They're high def, like full HD. There's no pixelation. You can move them around how you want to set them, and it's just perfect. I love not having to download extra apps for the phone, I think this is Horseshoe Lake, for the wallpapers. So I'll change the home screen here. It just looks really nice, and they're, like I said, they don't pixelate and they don't blow out. All right, just a couple more here. So we have, it's lightweight, the phone. It does feel very solid, although it is cheap, like I said. So it's a very solid device. It doesn't creak or anything like that for me. It doesn't twist or bend, which is nice. Like I said, it just feels plastic because it is plastic. That's just how it is, especially with a phone that you're not paying a bunch for. Last couple things here. Just the built-in Moto gesture, so like 2 chops will turn on the flashlight, 2 chops will shut it off. If we do a twist, it will open the camera up here, so that's pretty cool. It doesn't launch super fast, but there's that tap to go home like I told you. And then like that ambient display, so if it's sitting down like this and you kind of lift it up, it will show you, you know, what you want. So mine, I have it set as the clock, and sometimes my alarm is on there and things like that. So this is not a AMOLED display, so that is going to use battery when it is just lighting up like that, because the whole screen does light up. It always turns on perfectly. I'm just probably doing this at a funny angle, but that is that's going to be part of it. So I have battery percent, camera, or sorry, battery percent, date, and some other stuff on there that you can change. You can also edit those. So yeah, overall very solid phone. Really like it a lot. I think that for under $200, this is one of the best, if not the best phone that you can buy for this price. Again, you can shell out an extra, what is it, $50, $60 for the model that doubles both your RAM and your storage size, but that's just going to help you out on performance if you multitask heavily for the RAM, and then the storage size is going to be a little faster than a micro SD card if you're going to put one in. But you can also, you have that option, so you can save that extra money. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions, or if you want to leave a comment down below, I'll try to get to them. But thanks for watching as always, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Later.